should black people get reparations?
I think there has to be some form of reparations, and we can discuss what that is.
But in the area of reparations for descendants of Africans enslaved, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee has proposed a bill to form a commission to study how to do reparations. If you elected president, would you sign that bill if you came across your desk?
When I'm elected president, I will sign it.
A few moments later.
The reality also is this. Any policy that will benefit black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No, because whatever benefits that black family will benefit that community and society as a whole and the country. Right?
No, not right. Absolutely not right. Tell me in your insane membrane of a brain how you think reparations benefit all of society. And I said all because those were your words, Miss Kamala Harris. You said that reparations would benefit all of society. So I'd love to find out. You tell me how Asian Americans, white Americans, Indian Americans like yourself would benefit from black people getting reparations. I'm still trying to figure this whole reparation thing out. Sounds a lot to me like giving out free student loans to kids, and you think that's going to help all of society. No, that means we have to pay for it. Tell me how, giving newcomers into this country all kinds of ATM cards and free hotel rooms benefits all of society, all of America. Nope, it doesn't. And so reparations is just a code word for, I need your vote, so I should pander to you. Save it. Save it for those idiots who believe that crap. Save it for those idiots out there, those black American idiots who feel they deserve, quote, reparations for something they've never done, for something they've never experienced, for something they never even had a part of, including yourself, except for the fact that your family actually owned slaves. Maybe you're feeling guilty. Maybe you feel like, hey man, I should do something because my family actually owned slaves. You're one of the few people walking around out here who does have descendants or ascendants who actually own slaves. So maybe you should pony up the reparations. Maybe you should step up and say, you know what, I need to give back. I've said on many of my videos, I hate it when elitists get out there and talk crap all day long about reparations and paying fair share when none of them do. And I'm talking to her, I'm talking to Stephen A. Smith, I'm talking to all these people who step up and say, oh, we need to do more for the people. Ain't nobody stopping you from cutting a check. I say it over and over again. There's not a chance in hell that the IRS will return your check and say, hey, we don't need it. You don't have to wait until April 15th of every year. Don't have to do it. If you really wanted to pay people and pay into the registry of America, you can go ahead and stroke a check right now. You can stroke a check next week, every month. You don't have to wait until April 15th. I call you out on it. I call you out it right now and say you won't do that. I call Megan Thee Stallion out. She ain't doing it. I call Stephen A. Smith out. He ain't doing it. You guys are all phony. LeBron James ain't doing it. You're all full of shit. I'm sorry, I had to say the word. That's the absolute truth. You're gaslighting Americans. Absolutely gaslighting Americans. It makes me ill to my stomach as a black man. Yes, we're about the same color. And yes, we do have Jamaican descendants. But I was born here, and my mom was born here. And so, I'm actually black. I'm going to use that, how can you say it, that formula that gets bandied about in the black community. If you have one drop of black blood, you're black. See, a lot of white people don't understand that, and that's what a lot of black people basically perpetuate. They like to say you're black if you happen to be one drop, because it makes them feel comfortable basically associating with you. You're like them, even though your hair is different, even though you're light skinned like me. It allows you to be in that group of people who call themselves black. You know, like Rachel Doziak, whatever her name was. You know, you can just say you're black when you want to, and it's okay. People accept that. You could also say you're white. You could also say you're Indian American. You can also say, if you said, you're Asian American. But please, please, please don't BS us with this crap about reparations and your twisted view on capitalism. You are an abject liar. I'm going to prove it to people today. I'm going to prove that Kamala Harris is an absolute liar when it comes to her thoughts on capitalism. It's not hard because she's put the video out there. She's got so much to talk about that the media keeps trying to cover up, but it's out there. We all see it. Some of us do. Other people ignore it, hope nobody else ever shows it. But I'm going to bring up some things today about Kamala Harris and her fraudulent attempt to be of the people, by the people, for the people. Nah, you're the man. You are the person that you say that you don't want to be like. You are the person that you try to tell other black people that, that boogeyman, that rich Trump guy, he's the wrong guy. He's the bad guy. He's the boogeyman under the bed. When you're that person, Kamala Harris, you are that exact person. We know it because we've seen it. Reparations are a joke. Reparations are an insult to every hard-working American. Think I'm wrong? Get up on stage and explain to a bunch of truckers how reparations to black people make them better. You won't do it. Get up on a stage, any one of these stump stages. You're going to be in Philadelphia this weekend. Get up on a stage and tell anyone who's working in a factory that giving reparations to black people is good for them. You see, those people are the ones whose pockets the reparations are coming out of. When I see you on a stage with Al Sharpton or doing an interview at the Breakfast Club and telling people, yeah, I'm for reparations, what you're really saying, and what it's code word, code switching, whatever that thing is they're coming up with these days, what you're really saying is, I want to redistribute wealth. I want to take it from these white people who are making money, and I want to give it to black people. Save it. I don't need it. I don't need any reparations. I didn't earn it. I don't deserve it. I've never picked up any hay in my life. I've never scooped up stuff in a barn. I've never slept on dirt. I've never been beaten with a whip. You don't owe me anything. And I'm pretty sure nobody, and I do mean nobody, who has heard your crap has done so either. Nope, not Charlemagne the God, not Al Sharpton. None of them have had to pick up any bales of hay or go out there and pick cotton. It's an abject insult to anyone's intelligence that you feel anybody deserves reparations today. You're insulting. Absolutely insulting. And then you further the insult by saying it's good for society. It's good for Americans. Everybody needs to pitch in so we can pay these black people who didn't do anything. That's exactly what you're saying. I mean, by the way, who is going to decide who gets the reparations? What line do you have to be in to get the reparations? Anybody black? So now people can, since they can change sexes and genders and do all different things, can people just decide they want to become black? Seems like the bar is really low that you set. Very low. That one drop of black now makes anyone basically available for reparations. Maybe that's what you really want. Maybe you're hiding behind reparations, but what you really mean is we can take money from the rich, or sort of rich, and give it to everybody else. At least be honest. Stop lying. I found this video on your thoughts on capitalism, and it made me want to puke. But before I get to that video, you want to know another reason why you know Kamala Harris is full of crap? And she talks about being for the people. Well, I'm doing a video, and all of a sudden, this ad pops up. And this ad pops up with Kamala Harris asking people to donate money to her campaign. And people are leaving me comments and say, you know what? Kamala Harris is advertising on your live streams. And I'm like, no way. So I went back and watched it, and I saw the ad, and then I went back to, I guess, her Instagram page and found the ad. And it says, today is the day I hope you will donate. And she's got a necklace on as she's talking. Well, then, by process of elimination, you go back and see, where does this necklace come from? Oh, it's from Tiffany's. That necklace cost $62,000. Man, that's a nice chunk of change. That's some nice gold you got there. For someone who thinks capitalism is phony and it doesn't work, you seem to be, enjoying it yourself. You seem to be making good capitalistic moves on your own. You don't publicize those. You don't want people to know the things you're doing, how you're doing them, so that they don't understand what you're doing. And they don't understand that you're full of crap. But you know what happens? Eventually, people find out. And so I've got this video I'm going to play, and this video is Kamala Harris talking about capitalism. And make sure you're sitting down as you hear this.
So capitalism in its best form is about the beauty of competition to create the greatest product,
Never heard that definition ever in my life. It is not a competition to create the best product. That's not capitalism. Capitalism at its purest sense is he who dies with the most toys wins. Capitalism is about being able, no matter what it is that you want to sell, whether it's a t-shirt, a hat, a video, a cup, a sub, what it's about is profiting from your efforts. The ability to make as much money as you possibly can before you die. That's what capitalism is. That's what capitalism will always be. It is nothing about competition. Where would you have come up with that information? I'd love to know who taught you that capitalism is about competition. Capitalism is about making money for you, your business, and your shareholders. Not your stakeholders, which is another word that they made up, for your shareholders, people who have invested along with you. It's amazing how they say this stuff.
the greatest outcome. But inherent in that is an assumption that everyone starts out on the same base, and then they compete, and whoever wins, wins.
Now here she comes again. She comes again with that same thing she's been saying in many videos, which is basically communism. And she's saying that everyone has to start in the same place, which is completely false. Capitalism is about making money, earning money, generating revenue, and promulgating success by maintaining wealth. You do not, and there is no pre-qualification that you need to start in the same place. Let me prove it to you. This is an easy one. I decided about 4 months ago, to start making political videos. I didn't start at the same place as Mr. Beast. I didn't start at the same place as CNN. I didn't start at the same place as MSNBC. I was way behind these people. However, I've been able to achieve relative success in a short period of time. You can define what success is. Jimmy from Mr. Beast would love to say, hey, listen, my videos, I need to have 30, 40 million views. I need to make this much because of my production. That's his measure of success. CNN and MSNBC, not really sure what their success is because they don't get shit for views. They all started at different points, and success can be measured by what you need in life. When I started real estate investing, Trump is a developer, way ahead of me. But you know what? Since that time, my wife and I have bought and sold over 1,000 houses. Renovated them, built some condos, had some fun doing it. Didn't need to start at the same place. The key she's not understanding, and she doesn't want black people to know, is that you define what success is. You are not inhibited by anything. It doesn't matter where you start. The only thing that matters is that you start. And that's where the problem is. She's trying to say, hey, listen, you're in a staggered start and you can't succeed. Well, she doesn't define what success is, and she doesn't define how you get to start. Nobody in the Democrat Party is showing people how to start.
The market, right? The market share. But that's a false assumption when you take into account the fact that not everyone starts from the same place, particularly when we take into account race and gender. So what we have to do is recognize the disparities that have long existed and take that into consideration when we want to encourage competition.
Now, I'm about to prove you that what she just said is BS. Because she's talking about starting from a different position, and because you start from a different position, you can't obtain success. Okay, this woman is currently the Vice President of the United States. She's running to be the President of the United States. I know for a fact that she didn't start at the same place as every other female politician out there. So how could she have obtained such success as a person of color and a woman? She didn't get any reparations. How did it happen? Man, we've heard from Judge Brown how some of the stuff happened. I ain't going to go there right now. But how did it happen? If the deck is stacked against women and blacks, or people of color, or somewhat black, we can call her. If the deck is stacked against you, how did you get to the position you're in? You don't want to say that. Well, let's not talk about your political position. How did you get to the financial position that you're in? You know, you're worth millions. Obviously, you are correct. You did not start at the same place everybody else did. How did you obtain success in a system that you are saying is so unfair? Well, Barry, how do you know what she's worth and everything else? Because it's public. So let's look at what she's got. This is from Investopedia. What is Kamala Harris's net worth? Harris's wealth comes from her years in politics, book royalties, and investments. Is she the first black, somewhat black woman to write a book? I don't think so. Is she the first black woman in politics? I don't think so. Is she the first black, somewhat black person to do any investments? I don't think so. So obviously her own words are complete crap. She's lying. It doesn't matter where you start from. It's that you actually do something. So let's further continue here. Kamala Harris and her husband, Doug, have an estimated net worth of $8 million. That's a lot of scratch, man. $8 million, net worth $8 million for someone who didn't have a fair start? Why don't you just tell people how to start? How to start and how to endure? Instead of saying, it's not fair, we got to give them stuff. She receives as vice president $235,000 a year. Okay, Harris and her husband, lawyer Doug Emhoff, have an estimated net worth of about $8 million. Harris' wealth, as I said earlier, comes from books she's written, investments she shares with Emhoff, and here's how she made her million. Harris was San Francisco's district attorney from 2004 to 2010, where she made about $200,000 a year. And at the end of her year, according to Forbes, in 2010, she became California's attorney general, which paid $159 per year. So those of you who are challenged from math, from the years 2004 to 2010, which is 6 or 7 years, she made about $200,000 a year, or $1.4 million. Not bad for someone who is basically so far behind everybody else. Then she has 2 pensions worth a little under $1 million from her years in local and state office in California. In 2016, we know she was elected to the Senate. She got $174 per year there, and of course $235 from her vice presidency. She has also earned over $500,000 in royalties from books she's written. Wow. Imagine that. You can write a book when you don't really have any experience as an author. Got it. Now the next part. Harris and her husband, Doug, have between $2.9 million and $6.6 million in various retirement accounts and other investments and cash, according to her own financial disclosure. Harris's disclosure also shows that the couple has a family trust called the KDH DCE Family Trust. However, no other information was disclosed about the trust. You know there's some ducks in there, right? She ain't disclosing it, but you know there's some money in there. And then finally, Harris and Emhoff own a home together in Los Angeles worth between $4.4 million or so. Harris has also bought and sold several properties over the years in California and in D.C. So you tell me, Miss Harris, since everything is so bad for black people that you just can't possibly get ahead because for some reason the deck is stacked against people where they need reparations, how did you do it? How did you attain $8 million plus in net worth? What did you do? You obviously took advantage of the capitalism of America, and you're telling other people that it's not fair. Anyone with a brain can tell that you're full of it. Anyone with a brain can also tell that you've been lying out of your butt. You've been doing interviews with people across the country. We know how much money Al Sharpton has pilfered. Charlemagne the God has a very, very successful radio show. The people on The View making millions of dollars, yet you decide to stand up in front of people and pander and tell them that capitalism is wrong. What's wrong is you. What's wrong is you're lying. And what's wrong is that there are so many people who don't realize that you're full of crap. And what's wrong is the media is hiding it. I think it's incumbent upon anybody who has any kind of platform to make sure people know that you're full of shit.